What's up guys, it's your host Spartanic Arts DxD back with another high school DxD related video. And today we have What If Issei Was Betrayed and Became a God Part 5. Let's try to hit 500 to 600 likes. And if you guys want to know exactly when I upload / my upload schedule, click the little blue button right next to the subscribe button. A special thank you to Rob the King, Jorge Alvarez, Lachlan Yates, Atomic Warlord 58, Quizzical Cody Tolkek Sun God, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, Daybreak, VR Wolf, hashtag 2347, Sinrar Q, Jordan Pacho, and Mazuku. Thank you so much for joining the Balance Breaker tier. I cannot thank you enough for the amazing support you guys are showing the channel, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into What If Issei Was Betrayed and Became a God, Part 5. Chapter 13. Issei's identity gets revealed. Third POV, now with Issei and Volley. Issei Hyodo, my arch rival, prepare yourself for a glorious battle to the death, Volley says. The moment those words escaped his lips, everyone instantly looks at the twin dragons with surprise, shock, and other emotions at the revelation, while Issei has an emotionless gaze, fixed on the white one, but one could feel the waves of killing intent seeping through the air, like a wave of a tsunami seeping through the shore, destroying everything on its sight. Issei just sits there in silence. Rias says, Issei, I am engaged to the former pervert? This doesn't make any sense. How did he become smarter than me? Sona said. With tears steaming down her face, Rias musters all the strength she can and whispers under her breath, which gets noticed by Mordred, who looks at Issei with concern with evident on her eyes. How did you find out? Issei looks with a bloodshot gaze. His golden orbs gazing into Volley's eyes, Issei mumbles under his breath but devoid of any emotions, causing Volley to chuckle while feeling a bit scared. If you want to blame anyone for this, blame Orphis, the Ouroboros dragon, Serzek says. That confirms my suspicions about things. I came to know recently I've been informed about a terrorist group organizing some of the most dangerous individuals from crazy lunatics to righteous people. Yes, they call themselves as the Chaos Brigade, a group hell-bent on destroying the supernatural world. Guess who's leader? It's Orphis, Azazel replies. At the revelation of the new group, hell-bent on destruction, everyone looks at Volley with their mouths agape with the exception of Issei, Volley, and Azazel. What's the Ouroboros dragon, President? Saji says. The Ouroboros dragon, Orphis, better known as the Infinite Dragon God, one of the most powerful beings. It is said that even you know who can't scratch it. A true monster, in my opinion. It's rumored that it represents infinity itself, Sona says. A chill goes down the Vitra holder's spine at the revelation of the Infinite Dragon Loli. Orphis has been watching your life. From the day you were born into it, you were a special, and the only time it wasn't able to was the day Issei Hyodo was rumored to be dead. But then it sensed a strong power, one identical to yours, one screaming destruction and domination from Ko the day you disappeared, and then it sensed said power days ago in this city. Issei, in his head, alright, take a deep breath. Relax, just relax. Orphis, I should have known. My bad. She must have been the one who stole the Balor view. Does this mean Volley and Orphis know about me being the supreme concept? No. He himself said Orphis only sensed the concept destruction, but Volley didn't use the term concept. This means Orphis knew about me being the third dragon god, but chose to hide it from others. Orphis must have not informed me being a dragon god. In short, Orphis doesn't know about the multiverse or the supreme concept as Death said so, but Orphis must know about the concept of destruction inside me. Not as bad as I thought, but I think I should pay Orphis a visit, Issei says in his head. Issei, is that you? Rias says. I am not Issei Hyodo, not anymore. I am Issei Kodamine, adopted son of Kiri Kodamine, Issei says. With a shrug, Issei looks at Rias dead in her eyes, his golden orbs peering into her eyes. This doesn't make any sense, Saji says. Mordred just sits there in silence. I once was known as Issei Hyodo, but I have discarded that identity a long time ago, and you, Volley Lucifer, you are playing with things beyond your knowledge, Issei says. Volley immediately tenses at the name, which earns few shocked stares at the white dragon. Even insane Mao, Seraphal Leviathan lost her composure. What? How did you? Volley says. I can literally feel the blood of Lucifer in you. And since you somehow, with the help of fucking Loli, ruined my identity, I decided to do the same, Issei replied. With a heavenly sigh, Volley unflows his wings, revealing 8 dark-colored devil wings, earning a gasp from the others. I am Volley Lucifer, the grandson of the former Devil King Lucifer. I am a half-blood. My mother was a human, while my father was the grandson of the former Devil King Lucifer, Volley says. A half-blood. We didn't know about this, Zerzek said. Dear Lord, Michael replies. Since you are a half-blood, you managed to inherit divine dividing, which is astonishing. To have blood of the true Devil King Lucifer and the host of the White Dragon. You weren't supposed to exist, Azazel says. Azazel looks at Volley with a grin plastered on his face. I prefer the term miracle, Volley says. Too much secrets revealed on one day. I want to go home, Saja replies. This era is unique, a descendant of the former Devil King Lucifer, wielding the Divine Dividing, making him the strongest White Dragon Emperor in history, while the Red Dragon Emperor is a powerful dragon with his past shrouded in mystery, an anomaly without any true identity, making him the strongest Red Dragon Emperor in history. Absolutely fabulous, Azazel thought to himself. When this is all over, I want answers to this mess. Wait. Hold on, if Issei's the Red Dragon Emperor and a royal dragon, then I can easily convince my parents the marriage between us, Sona says to herself. I should have stayed at the mansion, Mordred said. Issei, why did you leave me alone? I thought you were dead. I found your pieces. How are you alive? Rhea said. Hearing this, Issei groans in irritation while Volley chuckles. I am not your boy toy, neither am I your servant. I have every right to be free as a respected dragon, Issei says. I want answers. This is confusing as hell, Zerzek says. Issei Hyodo, Volley then says. Issei quickly raises his voice to stop Volley from whatever he was about to say. Could you please refrain from addressing me as Issei Hyodo? I have long forsaken that name. Call me Issei Kodamine, Issei says. Very well, Issei Kodamine. I carry the blood of the Devil King while you carry that of a powerful dragon. I'd say we're the best heavenly dragons to ever exist, Volley says. Indeed. I want to know how this will end. Who will win, the strongest red dragon or the white dragon? Let's see, but I am sure my partner will be victorious given his intense training regime, Albion says. You're underestimating my host, Albion, Dreg replies. Let's see, Dreg. Let's see, Albion says. Are these two destined to fight or something? Saji says. Hearing Saji, aka Fool's dumb question, literally everyone avert their gaze at him, making him nervous. Saji, I can't believe that you don't know about the Heavenly Dragons and their history, Sona says. With a sigh, Sona shakes her head in disappointment, causing her to scratch his head. This is ridiculous. Every supernatural being knows about the battle, and we are praised and feared for our past actions, Drake said. A really long time ago, 2 dragons, immensely powerful, were born far away from each other. They were Dragkoch and Albion Gwilber. Both dragons were born in power to kill gods. They were praised as heavenly dragons. They roamed the world with the intention of gaining power, fighting. They killed the gods who dared challenge them, thus ending many pantheons. But then they found each other, and fought, and to their surprise both were equally matched, and their powers didn't affect each other. They fought each other as rivals, developing techniques such as boost, divide, but then during the great time of the Great War, the Dragon faction decided to remain neutral. But then the Red Dragon and White Dragon fought each other and missed the battlefield. They killed millions of devils, fallen angels who were nearby, and also proceeded to wreak havoc on the realm of killing countless grim reapers. But Hades, the god of death, interfered, which annoyed the dragons, who then returned the underworld, which was the primary war ground. The 3 factions were forced to deal with the rampaging dragons and formed a truce to kill the heavenly dragons. Countless lives were lost. The day known as the Great Genocide. Lucifer and Leviathan were killed by Dreg, while Onzimus and Beelzebub were killed by Albion. And then you who appeared, and he fought The dragons, who were already weakened as they were fighting each other and had a fight with the mouths. You know who managed to seal dragons inside the sacred gears with his dying breath, and thus the two dragons have already battled each other using their host as their vessel for the sake of their rivalry. But don't forget that the two heavenly dragons were one of the strongest beings to ever exist. They butchered multiple gods in the past, made Hades, the god of death, terrified of them, killed nearly 3 different races, killed our 4 original Devil King, gravely wounded you-know-who has succumbed to his injuries. As Suna finishes a huge lecture on the two dragons, Sachi falls to his knees with a terrified expression while everyone except Issei and Volley look uncomfortable. Haha, it feels good to be praised. You, Sea Tree Devil, are a person worthy of my acknowledgement, but Drake wasn't as good as me. I see, you're still as grumpy as ever, Drake said. What did you call me, you boob sucker? Albion says. I said you're grumpy, ass licker, Drake replied. Why, you insane bastard, Albion says. You have no right to talk to me, ass muncher, Drake says. Albion and Drake then continue to insult each other's sexual preferences, causing everyone to sweat drop at the rapid insults between the two most powerful beings to exist. I need a can of Coke, Issei says. Phew, I didn't expect our partners to verbally insult each other's preferences, Volley said. I want to die, Issei says. Dear Cloud, please swallow me, Volley says. So are you going to stay there all day or man up and fight, Issei says. Volley scoffs at Issei's remark, making Issei smirk, as a crimson-red aura and a azure-blue aura fills the air as they clash with each other, pushing back everyone but Sir Zex. A bloody red aura of his own prevents the auras of the heavenly dragons nearing him. At this rate, they're going to have a fight. The school will be ruined, Sona said. Perhaps we can't do anything. An enraged heavenly dragon isn't a sight to see, Grafia. Maintain a strong bounded field, which prevents any being lower or equal to a lower tier Satan class, Sir Zex says. On it, Lord Lucifer, Grafia replies. Grafia then erects a translucent dome around the academy. My fears have come true. Dear Lord, bestow us in your power to survive this, Michael says. Back with the two dragon emperors, the auras intensifies, creating huge cracks on the floor, scaring the shit out of Saji and the two hers. Come on, show me what you got, Volley says. Let's fight in our base forms for a while, shall we? Issei says. In an instant, Volley closes the distance with Issei, throwing numerous punches at Issei, who matches them with his own barrage of punches. This goes for half a minute, with neither managing to overpower the other's onslaught. Not bad at all, Issei says. I guess you're a close combat type fighter. This makes a lot of things easier, since I have a lot of mana reserves while you obviously haven't trained them, Volley says. Divide! Boost! Volley then jumps back, regaining his footing, as Issei chuckles like a madman. Why don't you try that out, Lucy? Issei says. Enraged at Issei's words, Volley then dashes forward at Issei, only for Issei to sidestep and catch his fist, delivering a punch to his guts, to which Volley retaliates by moving back. Perish, Volley says. Volley then proceeds to fire a huge projectile, brimming with an unusual demonic energy. Darker than the normal ones, Issei then successfully dodges, but then Volley released his wings and flies above Issei, who just groans in irritation. I'll make you pay for revealing my identity to ones I despise, Issei said. Boost! ×4. Twin dragon shot, Issei says. Issei then fires 2 concentrated red orbs, beaming with mana at Volley, but then... Divide ×4. The orb disappears into thin air, but then Volley notices that Issei is nowhere to be found and then turns around to be met with a kick to his face, sending him crashing to the ground, making blood flow from his now damaged nose. Boost! Divide! Divine dividing then glows a deep blue in color while releasing an azure aura grin from Issei. Volley, we can't be playing around. This gear has reached its limit for dividing. I suggest using Balance Breaker, Albion says. But that doesn't mean that Volley can't use Divide. He can just expel Excess's aura, thus increasing his limits, but then he'll reach his limits at the point if he goes on, Azazel says. Heh, more. I want more, Volley says. You're not half bad, Volley, Issei replies. Kick his ass, Issei, Mordred said. Boost! In a blink, Issei appears behind Volley, catching him off guard and throws him a sucker punch, to which Volley responds by a hook kick, which manages to push Issei back a few meters. Dear Satan, they're capable of this without getting serious, Sona says. Suddenly a beam of demonic energy hits Issei, creating a sandstorm blocking others' view of Issei. Divide! Boost! The moment Divine Dividing proceeds to divide Issei's sealed power, Drake springs into action by boosting. I can just destroy him if I release a few of my seals. If I release them all, Volley will surely die even if he tries to divide once. But doing that isn't worth. This guy has potential to become strong. I'll spare him, but that doesn't mean I should give up, Issei says. As Issei is in his own world thinking about things, Volley utilizes this in situation and tries to deliver a punch to his face. But Issei, due to his draconic instincts, manages to evade the attack and then delivers a roundhouse kick, sending the white dragon flying. Time to take things up another level. A bright light invades the area, causing everyone to shield their eyes. Soon as the light disappears, revealing Volley and his balance breaker. Vanishing Dragon. Balance breaker, Albion says. Let's fight. The way dragons fight. Divide times 6. Suddenly, Volley rushes towards Issei at unbelievable speeds. Issei off guard and delivers a wheel kick to which Issei narrowly dodges, but then Sucker Punch comes crashing onto Issei, slamming him towards the ground, causing him a sandstorm. Well, I think I overestimated you, rival, Volley says. Has the fight ended? Saji says. No, this is nothing but a prelude to the actual fight, Serzek says. With his eyes narrowed, the Crimson Satan looks at the sandstorm with a calculating look. The hell? I thought it was over, Saji says. Will the red dragon be victorious? It's necessary for the red one to be victorious as the white one is with the Chaos Brigade, Michael says. Issei is childish. He hates losing. I am also childish and I hate losing. That's how I know, Serzek said. Even I didn't know about Issei Hyodo and Issei Kodamine being the same person. Hyono, Kodamine, Issei, the Red Dragon Emperor and the Hunter of Red Plains. You are a miracle that wasn't supposed to exist, Serzek says to himself. The sandstorm then settles down, revealing Issei with his battle attire torn and having a bruise on the place Volley punched him, shocking Volley while Sony and Mordred unconsciously sigh in relief. Welch Dragon, Balance Breaker, Drake says. As Issei enters the Balance Breaker, a huge crimson aura forms a silhouette of Red Dragon, causing Volley to sweat silently while the others erect a barrier to protect them from the monstrous aura. Boost times 7. Crimson Firestorm, Issei says. Albion. Reflect! The huge firestorm conjured by Issei gets reflected, but then Volley is met with a roundhouse kick to his face, slightly cracking his helmet, which gets repaired instantly. Divide times 3. Drake, boost about 5 times and transfer them to my nervous system, Issei says. You want me to boost your nervous impulse, thus increasing your reflexes? This is extremely dangerous, Drake said. Just do it, Issei replied. Boost! Transfer! Azure Wave Impact, Volley says. A huge beam with blue spark surges towards Issei at unbelievable speeds, but to Issei, the beam seems to be slower thanks to his boosted draconic reflexes. Force Barrier, Issei says. At an instant, Issei manages to erect a transparent barrier in which the beam explodes, creating a huge explosion after smoke subdues Issei, and above a crater 6 meters long with second-degree burns. Erecting that barrier was definitely useful, Issei said. Divide times 4, Albion says. In an instant, Volley closes the distance with Issei and tries to blast Issei with a draconic spell. At the point-blank range, but Issei tries a new technique. Drag. Rapidly boost and increase my defense, Issei says. Boost times 10. A huge blast takes place midair, blowing back Volley due to recoil, but Issei is unfazed by the attack, earning a frown from Volley. I underestimated you. You aren't weak, Volley says. Havoc, Issei says. A swirl of holy aura accumulates around Issei, causing Volley to get uncomfortable while Michael looks at the sword with curiosity and shock. The forgotten holy sword of purification, Michael says. Boost times 10. Divide times 5. Issei then suddenly disappears and reappears behind Volley, delivers a horizontal slash, breaking his balance breaker while Volley gets flung back and bleeds a little from his mouth. You completely destroyed my balance breaker. That's what I expected you for my rival, Volley says. You're good, Issei says. A bright light shines as soon as disappears, revealing Volley in his balance breaker form, flying. I thought that fight was over, Saji says. Dragons fight till neither one is standing, Tsubaki says. Indeed. We dragons are prideful creatures and will fight till the death for the sake of our pride. This is how we dragons battle, partner. The mysterious voice before echoes through Sanji's mind, causing him to look beside him in confusion. Now with the two dragons, supremacy strike, domination jab, divide, boost. A azure blue aura and a red aura envelop Volley and Issei, respectively. Both at unbelievable speeds ram into each other, trying to gain superiority between each other. Shocked at the intensity of the fight, Rias tries to intervene, thinking that her dear pawn is in danger, but Serzek stops her. Rias, if you try to interfere, their aura will burn you into a crisp, Serzek said. Reluctantly, Rias stays away while biting her lips in frustration, causing Sona and Mordred to look at him in irritation. Time to end this, Issei says. Boost! Times 20! Transfer! Soon, a green aura transfers to the Holy Sword, causing the golden aura to significantly increase in size. Then Issei appears next to Volley and delivers multiple slashes, breaking the balance breaker, and sends Volley crashing into the floor, with blood splurting out of his cuts and body. The battle is over. You fought valiantly, Issei says. Why didn't you use your full powers? Volley said. I have made a promise to Dreg that I will defeat the White Dragon with his power, not mine, Issei says. Struggling to get up, Volley looks at Issei with a battle-hungry grin as Issei walks away from him. You wouldn't dare, Albion says. Oh, but I can. Doing this will destroy the whole town. It will kill innocent people, Albion said. Volley says, I don't care. As Issei walks away from Volley, towards Mordred, who is the opposite direction. At last, it's over. It's currently 12 p.m. Fuck, Mordred says. Finally, my fiancé came out alive and victorious, Sona says. Volley says, I, who shall awaken. A heavy, dense azure blue aura erupts from Volley, causing Issei to turn around and look at Volley dead in his eye. But all the faction leaders look at the scene with them somber, looks recalling their past memories. Even the crazy Azazel and insane Seraphol look at them in worry. Don't you dare, Issei says. Issei then looks at Volley, fear evident in his golden orbs. And that is the end of Chapter 13. Chapter 14, The Awakening. I, who shall awaken, Volley starts. A heavenly dense orso blue aura erupts from Volley, causing Issei to turn around and look at Volley dead in his eye. But all the faction leaders look at the scene with somber looks, recalling their past memories. Even crazy Azazel and insane Seraphol look at them in worry. Don't you dare, Issei says. Issei then looks at Volley, fear evident in his golden orbs. Volley, don't do this. Do you want to repeat the same mistakes that my past host did, Albion says. Azure blue orbs appear from his balance breaker, armor emitting an ominous aura. Feeling the ominous deep blue aura released by Volley, the two Harris and Paraj members gasp air, unable to deal with heavy aura, but the most effective one is Saji, who's seen twitching on the ground in agony, while whimpering a bit, causing Issei to look at them with concern for Saji and Sona's Paraj. Serzex, can you increase the barrier around the academy to the deity class? That's the only way the innocent people will make it out alive, Issei says. I sure can, Serzex says. The barrier suddenly turns to a faint red in color, indicating Serzex powering up the barrier, but then both Michael and Azazel combine their powers, establish a barrier protecting themselves and the other devils. I am the heavenly dragon who has taken the principles of supremacy from God, Volley says. The vanishing dragon balance breaker armor releases a monstrous aura responding to Volley's chant. Partner, Drake says. If he activates the drive, I'll be destroyed in an instant unless I release some of my seals. But if I use Trace On, the faction leaders will be able to deduce my identity as the hunter of the Red Plains. Serzex already knows of this, but if Heaven finds out, the peace conference will be ruined and they will declare war against the dragons as I massacred the first Heaven, Issei says to himself. Irina, I order you to leave this place, Michael says. Yes, Lord Michael. Should I gather reinforcements? No need for that, Michael says. Rias, Sona, I'm going to force teleport yourselves along with your Parajas. This isn't the sight for youngsters to see, Serzex says. But, brother, Serzex instantly force teleports the young devils and Irina to an unspecified location. I envy the infinite. I pursue the dream, Volley says. Fine. If you wish to taint your hands in the blood of innocence like my former host, go ahead, Albion says. The former devil's descendant's voice turns more deeper and primal like the dragon's, while deep blue aura completely overwhelms Issei's crimson aura. Issei, I'll help you, Mordred says. Mordred tries to approach her beloved, but Azazel stops her. Hey, Mordred, right? Don't go after them. If you do, you'll die, which I am sure your husband will not be happy about, Azazel says. I shall become the dragon of supremacy, Volley says. The vanishing dragon balance breaker grows, a pair of extra wings while his tails and claws increase. Don't do this. You'll die along with thousands of humans in the town unaware of anything happening here, Issei says. Partner, it's no use. We have to do something before it's too late, Drake says. This drive. I can never forget about it. I have seen many who have fallen into the curse, and it has always been disastrous, Zerzek says. I am not afraid of Volley. He can use his vast draconic reserves to sustain the drive for about 10 minutes, but since he's a bit exhausted, he'll be able to maintain it for about 5 minutes at best. I hope the red one survives, Azazel said. What exactly is this drive? Issei didn't tell me about a single thing about this, Mordred says. And I shall take you to the limits of white paradise, Volley says. A very intense flash covers Volley, and the light dissipates. A colossal white dragon at the height of 45 meters, radiating sheer power, scorching the land below the buildings with its aura, earning a look from utter terror from Mordred at the dragon. Divide times 10. The white dragon suddenly slams Issei with his tail at unbelievable speeds, breaking Issei's balance breaker upon impact, while also causing Issei to cough up blood. It's now or never. Release restrains. Mana. Issei mumbles those words, which manages to go unheard by everyone. Let's do it, but beware, don't drown in the curse, partner. If he uses his draconic powers to sustain, I'll use my hatred for ones who treated me like trash. Oh, past hosts of the Red One, respond to my hatred. Give me power. Remove your curse and abide me. I, who am about to awaken, Issei starts. A deep red-colored aura erupts from the boosted gear as if responding towards its wielder, earning the attention of the white dragon, which doesn't attack but patiently awaits for Issei to complete the chant. It's starting. The time has finally come. Numerous green orbs appear besides Issei, which a pale human voice is heard. Am the heavenly dragon who has stolen the principles of domination from God, Issei starts again. The crimson aura intensifies, making Earth itself tremble under the might of the two dragons. It had always been, always and forever, the voices of the humans behind him. He is using his hatred to power the drive, unlike Volley. This is crazy, but for him to maintain this by overcoming the curse, the negative feelings of hundreds past hosts, just using his hatred, he must have suffered a lot, as Azazel said. The past hosts, they are responding to his hatred. They are helping him. Finally, you old geezers are providing to be useful, Drake says. I laugh at the infinite, and I grieve the dream, Issei says. What the world desires, what the world rejects. The voices of women, men, children alike are heard echoing through the places, sending chills up everyone's spine. I shall become the red dragon of domination, Issei says. Has always been power, has always been love. No matter the occasion, you always choose the path to ruin. Slowly, Issei's hands changes into a dragon's claw, and I shall sink you into the depths of crimson purgatory. As the words are said, Issei's a huge green light envelops the surrounding ones, concentrated hard enough to see the transformation that took place. A colossal red dragon, at the height of 45 meters with large fangs matching the size of the white dragon. A gigantic, dense amount of red-colored aura, screaming the concept of domination, surrounds the said dragon, thus blowing up all the buildings academy into dust and in the attention of the other dragon. Ugh. Issei's dragon. Boost times 50! Divide times 20! With a ferocious roar, Issei aka the Red Dragon charged towards Volley aka the White Dragon, breaking the sound barrier in which process is possibly moving at Mach 2. The White Dragon successfully evades the attack but bites the Red Dragon in his neck. Enraged, the Red Dragon fires a red-colored beam from its mouth, sending the White Dragon. Feel my anger, my hatred. Can you feel it? Issei says. Boost times 50. Heavenly flames of domination, Issei says. A dragon made out of flames appears around Issei in a hot, concentrated blast. A dragon fear, imbued with principles of domination, hits Volley, sourcing his outer scales. The time is further reduced to the attack. At best, you have 2 minutes. Any longer, you'll lose your mind, Albion says. I can feel it. Hatred, anger, sorrow. I think I can't do this, but I feel staring the abyss at itself. The curse. It's so strong I see now the past hopes die in their agony. Pain, hatred, and anger. It's suffocating. The Red One must be going through this just like I am, Volley says. The Red One, he isn't using his magical reserves, but instead he is using his own negative emotions to bend the will of the curse. This mustn't be possible. His hatred has surpassed hundreds of past host curse, but even he will have his limit. Partner, I never accepted to say this, but let's flee. We'll fight him when he is We are strong enough, Albion says. I won't flee from a good fight, Volley replies. Divide times 50. In an instant, the air next to Issei starts to rapidly crystallize, creating a huge crystal around the dragon, trapping it inside. Divide times 20. Boost times 50. Transfer! The giant layer of suddenly cracks on multiple sides. Then with a loud roar, Issei's seal breaks, revealing a pissed red dragon. Volley. The timer has been reduced from 1 minute to 20 seconds due to the usage of my original spells. We cannot win this. The red one may still have about 10 to 60 minutes. We cannot win, Albion says. Boost times 20. Transfer! The red dragon suddenly releases its wings and dashes towards the white dragon, now reaching the speeds of Mach 5, catching the white one off guard, and delivers a solid punch to his gut, creating a huge shockwave, making the barrier to shake, and then proceeds to reverse kick the white dragon in its neck, penetrating the thick scales and draw blood. 2, Albion says. Let's make a deal. An eye for an eye, a dragon for a dragon, Volley says. You have 1 minute. Good luck, Albion says. Huge amounts of deep blue aura burst from the white dragon, causing the red one to lose its footing. Restart, Albion says. The white dragon glows and erupt blue, causing the red dragon to fire a blast into the air in frustration. Partner, it seems the white one made a sacrifice to gain power. Partner, are you still there? Drake says. I am fine, Drake. How much time do I have left? 40 minutes. If you're using your negativity, but if you use your mana at this rate after losing a part of the seal, I'd say you'll get an additional hour or two, Drake says, with the faction leaders now. Inside the protective barrier, conjured by Michael, Azazel, and Graphia, Mordred bites her lips in frustration and worry, while Sir Zex looks a bit tired, but still keeps on maintaining a deity-class barrier, which separates the city of Ko and the academy. Sir Zex, do you want me to help you maintain the barrel? Serafal says. Lady, shut up, Sir Zex says. Aw, you're no fun, Serafal replies. Sir Zex groans while restraining the huge urge to facepalm himself, noticing the chirpy Serafal. Mordred looks at her and confused. Hey, weirdo, you're Azazel, right? Tell me, is she always like this? Mordred says. You have no idea. She thinks I think she may have some physiological issues because she is obsessed with her younger sister, Sona Citri. Obsessed with magical curls, and who the fuck can remain calm when the two heavenly dragons fight each other using the drive, Azazel says. Indeed, Mordred says. You're awfully calm about this situation. I don't find it amusing, Blondie, Azazel says. With a sheepish smile, Mordred looks at the two dragons fighting each other. It's simple. I have faith on my darling. He made a promise to me the day he confessed his love for me. No matter what he takes, he'll stand by my side no matter what happens. He said that he will always be there for me, and would even kill thousands of gods to prove his love for me, Mordred says. With a heartbeat smile, Mordred looks at the ferocious battle while earning the attention of everyone. Some looked at her in awe, happiness, while some looked at her with shock. This girl. It's like I'm looking at an old mirror of myself, Graphia says. Ah, true love fascinates me more than anything, Michael replies. Man, looks like you got yourself a woman, Issei. I don't care if you're Issei Kodomine or Hyodo. You are my friend. As long as you don't turn into a cruel person, I'll help you. No, I must help you. At least repay my debt that I owe you, Sir Zex said. Quite amusing, Azazel replies. With Issei, I can't win this battle unless I use it at my disposal, Volley says. Divide times 20, half dimension. Issei's huge aura starts to shrink in size, and then the white dragon seeming to disappears and appears behind Issei and uses his claws to attack Issei, which provides to be futile as a part of the scale gets ripped off, and the red dragon causing Issei to try to counter by his own claws to rip the white one's dragon scales, which works but only to be met with a point-blank range dragon shot, stunning him. Shit, this is bad. Wait, that's it, Issei says. Under normal circumstances, you'd be dead if you do that, but I think you'll survive, Drake says. In a desperate attempt, Issei manages to hold off the rip scale of the white tail, which has a deep blue crystal imbued in it. Suddenly, Issei takes the orb and places it into his chest, shocking everyone who was witnessing it. You wouldn't, Volley said. Boost times 9. Transfer! The blue orb suddenly merges with center green orb of boosted gear, causing the various orbs in his body to simultaneously flash from green to blue. You fool! Do you have any idea what would happen if you combine the two opposing forces? You'll die, Azazel says. After a few seconds, the simultaneously light change stops and the orbs retain their original color. Vanishing dragon. Power is taken successfully, Drake says. This isn't possible. No way. This can't be true, Albion says. Allo to me. is how you something spectacular, Issei says. Divide, ×9, transfer! As the orbs Issei chained into a blue drake shocks everyone by calling out divide instead of boost. As Volley could feel his power being divided and boost ×1,000, the ground underneath him begins to get broken into shards of the rock due to sheer intensity of the aura contained with the red dragon. Drake, Longinus Smasher! The green orb in his chest glows radiant, and soon huge quantities of mana accumulates around the orb in an instant. A huge green-colored beam brimming with raw power is launched from the red dragon towards the white dragon and successfully hits its target, causing a huge explosion which cracks the barrier created by Michael and Azazel, and with the white dragon crashes into the ground with huge chunks of its armor broken. Reset, Albion says. The white dragon starts to glow a poop pale in color following Albion's words. Soon the glow dies, revealing the badly hurt Folly, barely conscious with numerous deep cuts and third-degree burns. Littered all over his body throughout the most important part was his left eye turned blue. I lost, Folly says. Tell me a good reason for not gut you like a fish, Issei says. Soon the red dragon vanishes into thin air. Instead, Issei in his battle outfit with his arms crossed as he looks at Folly, his arm towards a disgusted feeling. We are dragons. We fight like this, Folly says. Sighing in relief, Sir Zex dispels the barrier around Ko, but the once beautiful Ko Academy was no more than a pierce of land, abordant with craters of piles of rumble. Yo! That's what I call a good fight, Azazel says. I'll take responsibility for repairing the academy. It's devil territory, Sir Zex says. Dashing forward in an instant, Mordred tackles Issei to the ground while giving him a bone-crushing hug. You came back unharmed, Mordred said, smiling to himself. Issei tries to hug her back to comfort her while feeling her enchanted scent. I promised you that I'll always be by your side. What kind of man if I couldn't fulfill my promises, Issei said. Suddenly a fast red blur crashes into the ground, which reveals to be a Chinese man in his early 20s with brown eyes, carrying a staff and wearing a Chinese armor. Seems like you took quite a beating, Volley. Fuck you, Volley says. Azazel laughs at the mysterious Chinese man. Byoko, you've joined the Chaos Brigade, huh? I'm sure your old man will be mad at you, Azazel says. The man now introduces Byoko chuckles. I don't care. I just live my life doing as I like, Byoko says. Who the hell are you? Don't tell me you're here to fight me, Issei says. Nah, I'm here to save the pretty boy, Byoko says. The descendant of Sun Wukong and the descendant of the first Devil King. You both make a good pair, Azazel says. I'm flattered, but I don't swing that way, Byoko said. With Byoko swings at his staff creating a portal, under thus in turning successfully escaping. You may have won this time, but the next time we meet, I'll be the victorious one. Until next time, rival, Volley says. Both Volley and Byoko disappear via magic circle, earning a sigh from Azazel. I think you owe us an explanation, Issei Kodamine, or Issei Hyodo, Sir Zex says. With a heavy sigh, Issei motions for Sir Zex to pay attention. I once was known as Issei Hyodo, but I have long discarded that identity, Issei says. How'd you become a dragon, Sir Zex said. Dreg changed me into one, Issei replies. For what purpose did you visit Ko? Classified, Issei said. Are you the one behind the recent killing on Ko? Sir Zex said. No, Issei replies. Sir Zex looks at Issei dead in the eye to find any traces of deceit, but since Issei is a master of concealment, he finds no trace of lies. Does this change anything between our friendship? Sir Zex says. No, unless you try something else like keeping tabs on me, Issei says. Last question. Why did you leave my sister's garage? Sir Zex replied. After an uncomfortable minute of silence, Issei answers his question. She kicked me out of her club, then turned my life a miserable one as the students tried to harass me. And even my own parents abandoned me. They thought that I did something bad to your sister. And after some small analysis, I found out something, Issei says. What did you find out? Sir Zex replies. Tell me, Zex, if any rogue fallen angel trespasses into a devil's territory, what should the devil, according to the protocols, do? So Issei says, well, if the fallen angel is confirmed as rogue, the governor of the territory can do whatever she wants with the fallen, either kill them or capture them. Issei then looks at Sir Zex with unparalleled rage present in his eyes, causing him to flinch. She knew that a group of fallen rogue angels have infiltrated Ko, but she didn't take any action, and when I was asked to date by a fallen angel, she didn't alert me, but instead ordered her rook to stalk me on the day of my death. Her familiar gave me a summoning circle belonging to the House of Cremery, and when the Fallen killed me, she forcefully revived me as a devil since I had the sacred gear. And she was in a desperate need of powerful barrage pieces. As Issei then completes his speech, everyone looks at him in surprise and then shock. But the worst affected out of them was Sir Zex, who looks at this ground with unrecognizable emotions, unable to believe that his dear little sister is capable of doing this. Meanwhile, I'm going to kick her ass, Serafal says, meaning, I did inform the Duke of Gremory about the rogues, Azazel says. The moment we was revealed as the old Pawn of Rias, I knew something was terribly wrong, but I never expected this. Zex must be taking it the hard way. I hope he doesn't do anything rash, Grafia says. Rias, I can't believe she did this, Sir Zex says. Sir Zex whispers in a low tone with her hair shadowing his eyes, as his voice turns into a raspy one at the end. I am so sorry, Lord Kodamine, but if you wish you could bring this to the Council of Devils for a proper questioning, Grafia said. I am terribly sorry for my sister's immature behavior. I will definitely bring this to a trial for justice, Sir Zex says. You don't have to be saddened by the actions of your sister, but I do want to severe actions taking on her, Issei says. I definitely wanted to kill her, but now, no, she mustn't die. Death is a luxury she can't afford. I have faith in Zex that he'll punish her sister, but that still won't be enough. I'll make her life a living nightmare, Issei says. I wanted to give this as a present, but considering the circumstances, I'm giving this as a token of apology. Please accept this. Sir Zex brings out a small case of which radiates a faint draconic aura. This is a set of evil pieces, custom for turning humans into part dragons instead of devils. The same rules of evil pieces apply to this, and you can also enter the devil's rating game. I hope you like this, Sir Zex says. Sir Zex then opens the case, revealing a set of evil pieces, which has 15 pages radiating a strong draconic aura, earning a small smile from Issei. Thank you for this gift. This will be good enough to help in the future, Issei says. Well, you must infuse your aura into the pieces for them to acknowledge you as king, Sir Zex says. Nodding his head, Issei then places his hand above the case and pours his aura into the pieces, causing them to glow brightly. All 15 pieces have mutated. This hasn't occurred more than twice. Ajuka and myself were the only ones who got all pieces as mutated ones, Sir Zex says. Great. I'd like to have a good conversation, but it's time for me to go home. As the payment for your protecting your sister, I'd like half of Ko's ownership, which Rias owns, to be transferred to me. It will be done in a couple of weeks, Sir Zex says. Well, then see you later, Crimson, Issei replies. With a bright red flash, both Issei and Morta disappear from the academy. Lord Lucifer, we have to rebuild the academy, Grafia says. Curse my dumb luck, Sir Zex replies. Grafia then drags Sir Zex to help rebuild her academy, while the Sir Zex weeps like a woman at his misfortune. But then, oh shit, I forgot to tell him about the engagement between him and Sona, Sir Zex says. Now, currently with Sona, currently at the middle of the night, Sona is seen on her bed and unable to sleep after receiving the news that Issei's safe and academy will be rebuilt within tomorrow. I have to inform my mother about my fiance being the Red Dragon Emperor and the second in command of the dragon, Sona said. Oceanic blue-colored magic glimp forms at her ears, and soon a feminine voice is heard. Sona, dear, how are you? I'm fine, mother. The treaty went well. The city is safe, Sona said. Good. How is your barrage, my dear? I have been notified that a Vitra sacred user had been made your pawn, Lady Citri says. Indeed, he is not bad for a newly reincarnated devil. He's like an annoying little brother at times, Sona said. A loud giggle is heard from Lady Citri. Now, I'm looking forward to meeting him, Lady Citri says. Mother, about my fiancé, Sona says. Oh, the one who you bet in chess? Say he is a good individual, Lady Citri says. He is... And mother, he is aware of the supernatural, Sona says. After a long, cold minute of silence, Lady Citri responds back. Oh, so what is he? He is a dragon, and a really powerful one. He was invited to the conference representing the dragon faction. It seems like he is a very powerful dragon, and the Red Dragon Emperor. The perverted Pawn of Rias. No way. He was declared dead, is the new Red Dragon Emperor. Is he the new Red Dragon Emperor? Lady Citrus says. No, mother, he is Issei Hyodo, but somehow he managed to survive, removing his pieces and becoming a dragon, adopted a new identity. But I assure you he is no longer a naive pervert. He has drastically changed into a ruthless but caring person. And mother, please don't oppose this engagement. I am in love with him. I fell in love with him the moment he defeated me in chess. Before that, when he arrived at the student in Co, it was a small crush, but now I love him with all my heart. Oh, I cannot say no. That I suppose, but I wish I have a present talk with him, Sona. Inform him of this engagement, and if he's alright with it, we'll proceed, Lady Citrus says. With an atomic blush, Sona tries to compose herself, but then is unable to do so. It's late, mother, so I'll call you after a couple of hours, Sona says. With that, Sona dismisses the magic lamp and proceeds to fall asleep thinking about Issei, but unknown to her behind Velatorm glare of her room, a small camera with a microphone is seen if one could look at it clearly. A word is seen out of the camera which says, property of Leviathan. And that is the end of chapter 14. And that is where we're going to stop for now. Thank you guys so much for the support. It's been absolutely amazing. I'm so fucking tired. I can't even begin to explain. I gotta go eat lunch after this. Your boy's been grinding like a lot. I've had to move my stuff from places to places. This place has shitty Wi-Fi, but either way, I'm in college. I had to move a college dorm because our shower needed maintenance and I didn't care. And so now we had to switch to another dorm. You know what? I'm not even gonna bother fucking explaining it. Either way, it was super annoying. Once again, thank you to all my people who joined Balance Breaker. Rob the King, Jorge Alvarez, Lachlan Yates, Atomic Warlord 58, Quetzalcoatl Toltec Sun God, Daybreak, VR Wolf 2347, Sinroar Q, Jordan Paccio, and Mazaku. Thank you so much for the support. I cannot thank you enough for joining the Balance Breaker tier. You guys don't understand how much this helps me. Thank you guys so much for your support. It's been absolutely amazing. My next series I really plan to do, extremely recent, is What If Naruto Was Betrayed, and obviously the If Issei Awakened His Boosted Gear Early, or What If Issei Awakened His Boosted Gear Earlier, which will be a movie, and it'll include something special. So just be prepared for that movie, and What If Naruto Was Betrayed. Thank you guys so much for the support, and without further ado, Spartanic Arts DxD out. Wait, let's try to hit 600 to 500 likes. Peace.